Hello, hello, hello. So, let's start with a question. Out of all of those events and moments in time, what do they all have in common? They need a producer, they absolutely need a producer, but also they are all corporate events. They are all events that are run by businesses who are talking to other businesses or want to talk to their own brands. So that's what they are, and how do we do it? I'll give you a quick overview of our process and our methodology of how we pull these together. So we work on a process called the 3Ds, which is discover, detail, and deliver. So discover, that's our research phase. That's our phase where we are pulling all the information together about the venue, the country, the accessibility, the talent available, the budget, and our client goals, which could be sustainability or return on investment. And we really use all of that information to build a canvas for our creative and strategy team to then build a full experience for their end delegation. So then we move into the detail phase. This is my favorite phase. So this is where we plan, we review, we refine, we then plan again, and do the same process again and again and again and again until we get to a stage where we're really, really happy with what the delivery is, making sure that we're working through any risk management along the way. So then we get to our deliver phase. This is, see my speaker notes now this side, so I'm going to walk this side. So our deliver stage, this is what I like to, or should be at least, the easy part. That's the part where everything, all of our planning comes into fruition. This should be the best part of our experience throughout the project, where we can be on site, it's nice and relaxed, all our suppliers are working together, all the team are working together, and then shit happens. And the wind picks up, and the structure that we've built for the project hasn't got the right weight load in for the hurricane that is then coming in Florida. So we then need to take it all down to then rebuild it all again. This should be the easiest point, but is also the best point when stuff like that happens and your adrenaline goes, and it's down to you to make that change and put on this event for our clients. So, who am I to talk about this? I'm Joe Chilvers. I am the founder of the production department, a company I started 4 years ago in the middle of a pandemic, company that I had the idea of probably about 10 years ago, developed it for a period of time, and just at the time of the pandemic, the height where everyone wanted a nice, secure job that I had, I decided to resign whilst my wife was pregnant with our third child. I take that as really good negotiation tactics. She takes that as me just being a nutcase. Anyway, luckily we're still married. Just. No, a good 18 years, 12-year anniversary the other day, so going well. Thank you very much. So I'm also the technical director for a show called Cisco Live. So this is one of the largest B2B conferences in EMEA, which has over 50 kilometers worth of floor space, over 5,000 lighting fixtures. It's got, and the joke here is, got to manage enough LED to make Piccadilly Circus look pretty shit. Apologies for my swearing. If this offends anyone, I will tidy up my language and put some money in the swear jar. And then what drives me? So I started as a junior AV technician, and I've had lots of conversations over there with loads of great individuals looking to start in this industry. I've got a great passion for this industry. I just love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I have done since I was 14 years old. And I had that drive to go through. So experience from a junior AV technician at a conference centre down the road called the QE2 Conference Centre, and all the way now where I'm running my own business, and we've got 21 full-time production managers, and we do 150 events a year. Every single one I care about, every single one I have a passion to make sure it actually goes right with. So part of that passion is that passion of learning and my obsession with efficiency, about building stuff where it's an efficient process to make a nice, smooth and uneventful experience on site. So why am I here? So I'm here to talk about the future of technical delivery in corporate events, something that I'm really passionate about, but I'm passionate about it because for years I've been speaking to suppliers about what they're doing to push things forward. People like Jamie there in the front row from Delta Live, about how we're going to push forward the technical delivery of our events. How are we going to make it more efficient? How are we going to push forward the industry? So in the upcoming slides, there's some bits that I'm passionate about, stuff that we're implementing in our events, and stuff that I just think are going to be the future of events as we go forward. So we break this down into 4 categories. So it takes a certain kind of person to really get excited about shipping and transportation. I'm proud to say that's me. So shipping and transportation, infrastructure, fabrication, and technology. So let's start with shipping and transportation. So what's the current reality? What is the challenges that come with us on a day-to-day basis at the moment? So it's a very manual process. So let's take Ed Sheeran's concert. There's 52 different trucks that come in and out of a stadium each time. Each one takes a lot of time, a lot of people to manually load and unload. I should stick to my little corporate lane. Let's talk about Cisco Live. Cisco Live is the same thing. We take about 64 different trucks of stuff across the globe, mainly based in EMEA, but we also deal with air freight from different servers coming in from Australia, from America. All of this takes a lot of logistics to bring together. It's not sustainable. It's not something that we can continue with. It's stuff that we need to move forward with. So it is, and you can see from the notes there, it's stuff that we find challenging. Drivers, the same thing, all based around tacho hours. So rightfully so, they can only drive a certain amount of time before they need to have a break. That means when we're doing our planning process, we need to schedule that in. So stuff that is 16 hours away, we need to allow 2 days to transport. That means our tenancy time needs to be different. To be able to get that in and get out, our hire agreements need to be different. So what's the progress? Current progress. So HVO fuel source, hydro-treated vegetable oil fuel, makes it a little bit more sustainable, something that we can actually push forward with, and we are using for our trucks to Cisco Live the best we can. Challenges against that, it's expensive. We've got to balance it up against the budget. And then we are continuously increasing our use of local suppliers, narrowing that field more and more. So building our supplier base, that we've got such a good network of people that wherever we are in the world, we can make one phone call or a few phone calls and get the right personnel on site at any given time. So what I like to think about the future and what I think is happening and within the realms of possibility. So battery powered trucking, so supported by electric highways, KB event here somewhere. We've talked about this before, where the electric lines above motorways being able to allow their trucks, which are battery powered, to then move across Europe in a much more efficient way. When we talk about our not so popular friend Elon Musk at the moment, with his robotic and driverless vehicles, that has a huge impact to what we can bring into the industry, giving us this robotic driving. We don't need to worry about tacho hours, means we can actually have stuff which travels overnight, reducing tenancy time, reducing hiring equipment, allowing us more budget to create better experiences for our delegates. And my last one, which is a bit out there, but I think we'll get there, is electronic robotic flight cases. I can't wait for these, to see a load of flight cases just whipping around everywhere, self-navigating. You see them in airports. I was in Amsterdam airport the other day, and there was a robotic Hoover, actually a sea of robotic Hoovers that came past. And why can't we use that technology coming into our industry from a flight case perspective, having loading and self-unloading trucks as we go through? So infrastructure, again, takes someone to really care about this stuff, but that's what we do. So reality of stuff going in, there is a lot of stuff that goes into infrastructure. So I'm just going to focus on some key elements, one of which is about the marking out. People need plans. There's a lot of plannings that go into place, but people need something to follow. So when you go into a space like this, even here, there's markouts which allow us to go, right, power's going there, AV's going there, network is going there. That takes time and takes tenancy. Tenancy means money. So anything that we can reduce that time means better activations for us and experiences for our clients going forward. So we then got a lot of cabling that goes out. So from a Cisco Live perspective, and there's a slight variation of this, we've done over 200 kilometers worth of cabling within that. That's both from a Cat6 cabling perspective, for networking, from AV cabling, from power cabling. All of it takes a lot of manpower to do this. So what's the progress? Robotic workout. So meet Lionel here. Lionel is down at the Excel Centre. He does a robotic markout process. Again, it's not a manual thing. It's something which is preloaded with CAD drawings and allowed to then mark out in his own time. He's not that fast. But as the technology progresses, he's going to get faster and faster. Could be a day, I don't know. But they're going to get faster and faster and progress with us being able to do and turn around things quicker and quicker. Then we've got power and signal over Ethernet. So we can run one cable instead of 3 cables. This, again, will reduce our time so significantly. So what's the future? Well, it's kind of already happening. So Formula One is someone we've worked with in the last few years. Now they've got a facility down in Biggin Hill. They obviously deliver now 26 races across the globe, most of which are all controlled from Biggin Hill. So they've got the networking infrastructure to be able to control that environment, to be able to control the digital signage, to control any of the relays of the race in the different paddock clubs or around the fan zone. So that technology is moving into our corporate world. We're going to be able to control a lot of our technology from locations in the UK or from centralised Europe. There's a company called Nemobo who are based in Europe who control Salesforce over in the States. So there's a number of benefits of that when we talk about labour and union labour laws. So working in Amsterdam, you can only work 6 days on a row and then having a break. You can only work 12 hours, which I appreciate is a long time for most, but it's not actually that much long in events. When you have this, we're able to reduce the overtime that we have to pay. We're able to standardise the clientele that we have to then deliver the people. It's taking away the variables for our clients to have a bit more consistent and standard delivery mechanism for them. So then we're moving on to fabrication. Again, this is where I geek out a little bit. At the moment, we work in a basis that is very wood-based. There's different system builds that you can see around here. System build is like a modular system. Think about Lego, Meccano in a sort of day-to-day capacity. That's effectively what we defer as a system build in our world. But then any of the bespoke structures as well is all very wood-based. Sustainable material, stuff that can be recycled and reused again, but it's not a long-term solution for us. The current progress that we're going through, so we've got sustainable materials are becoming a priority for us. It's stuff that we're doing our creative process with. We're consulting with our different creative teams from our clients to say, actually, if you use this material, use this system, or if you use this local supplier, we're able to really have a sustainable focus on our delivery. One of the, again, it's a relative term, one of the coolest things that I think we're doing at the moment is recycling a rewind carpet, which is sustainable carpet, which is then used to fuel different warehouses. We're actually taking that material, we're melting it down into pellets, and we're creating furniture for next year's event for it. So it has a full life cycle when we go through. But I don't think that's enough. I think this is where we're getting to. So we're going to push forward with this. We're going to do 3D printed of recycling materials. We're going to take that carpet, or we're going to take this material, and we're going to be able to melt it down, and we're going to be able to print whatever we want out of it. We're going to be able to inject electrodes into it to emit light, and hopefully get to a point where we can do video and imagery for it as well. Not only that, we're going to get to a point where they're going to be on-site fabrication. Places like the Excel Centre, etc., will have this on-site capacity, be able to have fully recyclable materials that keep getting used and used and used and used. This may be 2030, this may be 2040, this may be 2080, but this is where I want to push as best I can for this. Cool, and then we're into the technology side of things. So at the moment, we are very event heavy on LED displays. It's the quickest way to transfer your information as a corporate. You're transferring the data and the information that you want to get to your delegation as quickly as possible. Cool, right? You know, it's very much like this, it's transfer information, but as we work with more and more creative teams, they want to create these experiences. So we're going to progress this a little bit more. So you can see here, we're seeing advancements in transparent and automated LED, which again allows you this little bit of an experience seeing through into something to get them into a theatre to say, actually, there's something more to see, there's something more to look at. And then you've got things like Mix Halo. Again, over to Jamie down there if you ever want to know more about that, where we can create these simultaneous interpretation experiences. So I can be talking to you in my native Southeast London, and you can be hearing it in French, probably a bit. I'm not sure if there's a Southeast London French, but there might be. And that's all simultaneously using AI to go through. Then the future. I mean, again, the future's here, right? It's just in a different capacity. You've got the ABBA Voyage down in Stratford. If you ever get a chance to go and see it, it's a technical masterpiece. And we are using real-time rendering and production facilities to be able to do this, to be able to capture and deliver keynote presentations around the globe and from one single source around the globe simultaneously. But I think we're going to get to a scenario where we're going to have AI-generated avatars from people and keynote speeches from people who have not necessarily, are not alive anymore, sorry. So think people like Steve Jobs. So being able to inject an AI model with all of Steve Jobs' books, his readings, all of his emails to get a real persona of him and then actually project them into a keynote environment. So you'll be able to have the thoughts and ask these people questions by having this keynote speech. So some exciting things that I see are coming up in our world, but also some exciting things that we're actually working with at the moment. So where does that leave us, right? So we talk about what's the future of corporate events. Well, it's about identifying new technologies. It's about visualizing the integrations, about cross industries. It's about pulling everything together. It might not just be the industry we're working in at the moment as the events. It might be something in the manufacturing industry that we can bring into the events industry. And for me, it's about smarter, more efficient solutions. But none of this actually is possible without you guys. So the future of the industry is actually you. It's about you coming in, about pushing forward. It's about looking at things slightly differently and getting into the world of corporate events, which allows you to see the world. It allows you to experience music concerts, food festivals, brand activations in shopping malls. gives you everything that you need to do. If you're a TV-based person, we've just done a TV channel for 32 million people that no one can compete with. ITV doesn't do 32 million people for one show. Might need to fact check that. But so it's about you. So we're over there, we're the production department, myself and Fran are there all day. Please come and speak to us and talk about your future in corporate events. Thank you very much.